Hi friends, how are you? Welcome to the Fiber Nymph Dye Works channel. My name is Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph in most of the places online. And today is Thursday, October 12th. And it's early-ish. It's before noon. It's not like 7 a.m. Not that early, but it's early enough that I'm not going to have to deal with excessive sunlight in here today. I tried recording yesterday and I waited until too late in the afternoon. You would think I would know by now, but no, I still have that issue. So anyway, after multiple tries, I gave up and just thought I'll do it first thing tomorrow. So here we are. It's mostly first thing tomorrow, and I'm here to talk to you because it's been a hot minute since we've had a chance to chat. If you are new to my channel, so much thanks for you checking it out. That was a weird grammatically structured sentence. Hopefully you understood what I meant. And if you are a return viewer, thank you so much for coming back again. And if you are a member of my channel, thank you also for your support of what I do here. It's much appreciated. So let's see, the last time I talked to you, I believe it was mid-September. That was what I named the episode. And it's almost mid-October. I was bound and determined to get this episode in before it was actually mid-October, but I've got a few days to play with there. So, yay me. Yeah, it's definitely switched weather-wise. You'll note I'm wearing a sweater. This is I want to say it's my Ramona cardigan. I meant to double check. I made this last year or the year before. I don't remember when I finished it, but it hasn't had a lot of wear since I did finish it. And I'm very happy to have it on now. And one of the reasons it's what I'm wearing is because I have still not had a chance to pull my fall and winter clothes out. I don't have enough storage space in the bedroom to have like my whole entire year's worth of clothes out at one time. So I always switch, my warm weather clothes, cool weather clothes. I really need to get my cold weather clothes out. Hopefully later today that's going to happen. But this was one of the sweaters that was just up on a shelf in my closet. So I have been able to wear it the last several days since it's been quite chilly. Here, I'll stand up just so you can see. I really like it. It took a while. If you were around whenever I was making this, you might remember that I had some angst with it. It was... when I finished it, the sleeves were way too long. And so I kind of let them sit over the winter, and then I pulled them out and I redid them, and they're great now. And one of the fun things about this sweater is I got to use this great set of mismatched buttons that I had in my stash. And they're perfect on this sweater. So I'm pretty sure it's Ramona. Oh my gosh, if it's wrong, I'll put it down here. I meant to look it up, but I didn't. So anyway, and I made it out of Briggs and Little, I meant to look that up too. I think Heritage, whatever their like heavier weight yarn is, it's worsted. I think it was listed as worsted one place, and somewhere else it's listed as Aran. So it's a beefy woolly yarn, and I really like it, and it's so warm and it's very comfy. It's a little, it's got that toothy factor to it, but it's not itchy, so it's a win. And I'm glad to be able to wear it. So anyway, let me start by letting you know that there are show notes in the drop-down menu below. If you would like to find the links to anything that I talk about, I try to put them there, including links to project pages both on Ravelry and on my project blog. I have a separate blog that I use just for projects. That way, if you are not able to access Ravelry, you can check out all the same details over in that blog. So both of those links are there. I mentioned my members, and if you'd like to look at becoming a member of this channel, which just gets you a little bit of extra content each month, and it just helps to support what I do here, you can check out that information also on the main Fiber Nymph Dye Works page here on YouTube, and there should also be like a little join button underneath the video, so if you click that, that'll just show you what the perks are, so you can check that out if you're interested. All right, I have a few announcements to start us out with, and the first one I want to mention is last month in September, I had my Stay colorway in the shop, and that was my National Suicide Prevention Month colorway. which I was doing as a fundraiser. $5 from each stay item was being donated to 2 different causes. So I was splitting that total amount to 2 causes, and you raised with your purchases $405. I was so pleased and thankful for that. So thank you to anyone who purchased a stay item. I did make those donations, and I will link to a blog post on my Fiber Nymph Dye Works blog on the website where I explain a lot more about those donations, and I have the copies of the receipts so you can see them. But I basically split that in half. Half went to Canines for Warriors, which works with the veteran population, and the other half went to the Trevor Project, which works with LGBTQIA+ youth. Both of those populations are at high risk for suicide and mental health issues. So I was so happy to be able to help donate and help people out who are in those situations, in those populations. And again, I just thank you so much. I will mention I have a very small number of leftovers after I fulfilled all of the pre-orders for that colorway. I think there's maybe 2 skeins of the self-striping yarn in the shop and 2 mini sets. So if you didn't get one and you would still like one, I'm still going to be donating $5 from each of those items to those 2 causes, so you can check the shop. I don't know if they'll still be there by the time this goes up, but they're up there right now. So that's my first announcement. Second, I just wanted to remind you, I am a Pro Shop sponsor for the Down Cellar Studio Pigskin Party event that lasts all throughout the football season. The pro football season here in the US. I know there's football in other places too. Anyway, my colorway Grab Your Flannel is also in the shop. That's a pre-order that will be up all through the pigskin party season, so you can place that order if you would like to. You don't have to be playing along with the pigskin party, although I would really recommend checking it out. It's a fun knit along, very low stress, and it's a nice event if you want a little bit of camaraderie but don't want to feel like you have to take part in absolutely every conversation going on. It's a nice balance. I am participating as a player this year too, which has been fun, and I have been trying to keep up with a little bit of chatter in my little team, my little group. So anyway, that is also in the shop. I want to mention too, I think last time I talked about my Middle Earth Imagined colorways were going to be going to the shop for pre-order. That did happen since the last time we talked. So hopefully you guys are on the newsletter list if you were interested in that, and so you would have seen that. Those pre-orders closed on Tuesday. I will be doing a round 2 of the pre-orders for those colorways once I get the ones that I have already dyed up and shipped out. I have to keep a check on pre-orders right now just because this is a super busy time in the studio. I'm trying to get all of the holiday countdown sets dyed up and ready to go out, and that's my top priority in the shop right now, or in the studio right now. So the shop is not quite as active as it often is, but I am still trying to get some things up there, including pre-orders as I can manage them. But I just don't want to overextend myself because that never ends well for me or my mental health. Lastly, in the podcast today, I do have the September soy mail winners to announce. So stay tuned for that. That'll be happening a little bit later in the episode. And as always, in the show notes, I do have timestamps, so if you want to just jump ahead or jump around for the content that you're interested in, feel free to do that as well. I probably should have mentioned that earlier so that if you weren't interested in the announcements, you could have skipped them. Let's move on to the crafting. My first project, actually, I need another sip. I did not turn the heat on out here purposely because I knew I was going to be wearing this sweater, and it's so nice and cozy. But it's quite chilly out here. But I do have my Halloween decor going for you. Can you see those? I have a couple of really cute pumpkin candles that a dear friend sent to me as a gift. And look at my ghosties. I've had those ghosties for a long time. I love them so much. Anyway, got to be in the spooky season vibe, spirit, whatever. Okay, crafting. Here we go. First up is my Deschain pullover. No, it's not finished yet, but it has come a long way since you saw it last. If I can get the yarn to let go of itself here. Okay, so here it is. And Deschain is by Layla Raven. Raven? Yep, Layla Raven. And so here we are. When you saw it last, I was probably right about here. I had joined in the round and I was a couple inches below that. Since that time, I've finished the body. So let me show you that. There it is. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Lisa, wasn't that going to be a cropped sweater? Yeah, that was my original plan for it. I planned to make it as a cropped sweater that I could wear with a couple of dresses. And here's the thing, as I was working on it and as I was trying it on, I was absolutely loving how it was fitting. It was fitting so, so well. If you've been with me for a long time, you know I have the habit, unfortunate habit, of making my sweaters much roomier than they really need to be. My brain has not grasped the fact that I am not still a much larger person as I used to be. And so even though I know what my measurements are, my brain likes to make things larger than they need to be because there's a disconnect there. So this sweater though was fitting perfectly, like absolutely perfectly. And I'm like, you know, I don't know that I want to just be able to wear this with these dresses, because the other thing about the dresses are they were very summery dresses. I was kind of deluding myself to think, oh, I can wear them well into fall, maybe even winter with some tights or something. No. I took a good hard look at them and I was like, no, those are definitely summer dresses. And am I going to really want to wear a woolly top, even, you know, a cropped worsted weight woolly top over summer dresses? No, probably not. I would much rather be able to enjoy this sweater throughout the winter season, because I will wear this to death. It's so pretty and I love it. I would rather do that with pants and tights and things like that, leggings, whatever, than just be limited to a couple of dresses. So, not that I couldn't wear a cropped sweater with pants too, but I wouldn't, because that's not a look that I like on me. Anyway, so I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to put this on just to show you what it looks like on me, and then we can talk about it a little more. Okay. Here we are. I'm tethered. But here it is. Look how nice this fits. Perfect fit in the bust. It's got a little bit of room that I like here in the abdomen without being too big and boxy. And the length is perfect. I did not pay attention to the pattern, what they said to do for the length, because I've made a lot of modifications to this sweater, which you might remember. It was originally supposed to be knit in two pieces, the front and the back, and then put together. I did not do that. I knit down from the shoulders to where I was going to do the armholes on both the front and then the back. Then I joined in the round. After I had a couple of inches there, I did seam the shoulders, and then I continued to work the body down in the round. So I'm very happy with that. And here's what it looks in the back. I mean, look at the fit. This is one of the best fitting pullovers I've ever made, I think. Anyway, and I'll come a little closer so you can, I don't like to talk when you can't see my mouth. Anyway, so there you can see that pretty feather and fan lace motif that runs down the front. I just love it so much. Anyway, so what I decided to do is I decided to make it, you know, this long. And as you can see, like my hips are right here. My belly button is right about here. Here's my waistband of my pants. So it comes down here. This is the perfect length I like for a sweater. Now this does have this false sense of being a little longer than it really is, because this lace panel does this little dip down here in the front. So it's not as long on the sides as it is in the front, which is fine. This is a good length for me anyway. And what I decided to do, because the way it was written, the back would have just been straight across, and I didn't care for that, is I did a series of short rows across the back. I'm going to turn around in a minute and show you, but I did a series of short rows across the back to give it a similar curve, but kind of across the whole back. So hopefully you can see that. And that turned out exactly the way I wanted, like exactly. And as you can see, I did start the first sleeve as well. Sorry, I need to move back up here. Yeah, it's right at elbow length now. I would like it to be about here. And this is what I have left of the yarn that I'm currently working with, this amount. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get it down here. I think it is, but if not, I do have a full other skein of this yarn. This is Cascade 220. The colorway is Tangerine. It is a retired colorway. This is some yarn that I adopted from my friend Carol, who does the A Stitch in Time podcast, and completely altogether, because she had tried using this yarn for a couple of different things, so it wasn't in its original skeins. There was like just under 5 full skeins, so I wasn't sure how much I was going to have to do with a whole garment with. And that was the other reason why I thought, well, it would be great for a cropped sweater. But obviously I had plenty to do the full body, and I'm sure I'm going to have enough to do at least like mid forearm length sleeves. I don't really know what that's considered. 3/4 length sleeves maybe. That's where I'm headed with this anyway. So I'm going to take this back off and sit down and talk to you about it a little bit more. Okay, so you saw how it fit. Again, super pleased with that. So let me talk to you about a few of the modifications I've made to it, aside from not doing it in 2 separate pieces, but working it in the round. As I got finished with it, I did decide I was going to do the hemline in the detail that was in the pattern. So here's what it looks like close up. It's kind of like you've got these 2 garter ridges, and then you've got this elongated stitch section, and then 2 more garter ridges, and then you bind off. And that was unique. I thought that was a really unique edging. So I thought, okay, I'll try that. So I did it as written in the pattern and tried it on, and there were issues. Number one, the back looked fine. The back looked perfect. But in the front, I had issues at the very sides, like on the sides of where my hips are. The edging went boop. It was like flaring out. And the other place it was doing that was right here where the 2 edges of this lace panel came down and met it. It did that same boopy out thing. It was like this, which made the rest of the front go in and be very wibbly wobbly. And I think that's why the sides were also going out. But again, the back was laying flat because it's just a flat piece of fabric basically. So couldn't have that. So I considered how to mitigate that. I ripped out the whole hem area back to the first garter ridge. I left that in. And then I decided to do a couple of things. Number one, I went down a needle size because the pattern did not have you doing that. And in a lot of sweaters, I would say the majority of sweaters I've knit, they do have you go down at least 1 needle size from the size that you've worked the body to what you're doing your hem or cuff or bottom band or whatever on, because that does help it not flare out. So I went down from an 8 to a 7, and as I started working around, the other thing I did was I put a series of 8 decreases in around the whole sweater. So I did a set of 2 decreases over here on the one side, on either side of basically this, what would be the side stitch. So a knit 2 together, an SSK. I did that here, and then I did that here at this point, 2 decreases, here at this point, 2 decreases, so on either side of the lace panel, and then I did it again over here at this side. And then I continued to work around on the US 7, did the elongated stitch round, and then whenever I got to the next garter ridge, I went down to a US 6. I think I did like the first round of the garter ridge, and then in the second round of the garter ridge, I went down to a US 6, and I finished it in a US 6. And that took care of the problem. As you saw when I had it on a little bit ago, there is no flaring, there is no blinking, there is no weirdness. It lays perfectly. And so I was really pleased with those modifications because I really just did them on the fly, but they seem to be what the garment needed in order for that hem to lay flat. This hasn't been blocked yet at all either, so I'm sure once it's blocked, things are going to lay even a little bit nicer. But anyway, that's what I've changed so far. And I'm happy with the changes. Now I am on the sleeves, as you saw. I'm doing the sleeves on a 7. Now, as you can see, my gauge on the sleeve is much tighter than my gauge on the body, which I knew would be the case because I did the body on an 8. And even if I was using an 8 for the sleeve, I'm pretty sure my gauge would be tighter because when you're working a small circumference in the round, your gauge is almost always tighter than when you're doing a large circumference. That just seems to be something across the board for people. But it's okay because I needed the body to be a looser gauge. I wanted it to have some drape because it's meant to be a drapey garment. And the original, as I mentioned before, the original pattern was knit in I want to say it was maybe a linen or some sort of plant-based yarn, okay? So it wasn't a wool. And it was it lighter? I don't remember. I don't remember. But this yarn is very different than what it was originally designed for. So I did make that adjustment. I knit this on 8s, which is much bigger than I would usually use for Cascade 220, but that's fine. It worked out great. But I did want the sleeve to be a little bit tighter. Now, as you also probably saw, the sleeve is not skin tight. I want a little bit of positive ease in that sleeve, but I didn't want it super roomy either. So I picked up stitches. The pattern said to pick up stitches, 1 stitch for every row of the front and the back. That would have been way too many stitches. I picked up 2 stitches for every 3 rows, which I think ended up being 65 stitches, maybe 69 stitches. I don't know. I have it written down somewhere. But that ended up being perfect. So I started knitting, and then I'm doing a set of decreases every 5 rounds. And I have done, let's see, how many have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've done 8 decreases. I'm not going to do any more. It's great just the way it is. I'm going to leave it that way until I get down to the cuff. And I don't really know if the cuff is written to use this edging or not, but this is what I'm going to use. I kind of feel like maybe it is, but I haven't read in the pattern and I'm not going to look. I'm just going to do my own thing because that's what I do. So anyway, at this point, I am going to finish this sleeve and then I'm going to do the other one. I thought I might work them contiguously. Contiguously? Is that the right word that I wanted? Concurrently at the same time. Because I was concerned about having enough yarn, but I am pretty sure I'm going to have plenty of yarn. And then the only other thing I need to do is the neck edging, which I actually kind of like the way the neck looks, even though it is doing a little bit of rolling. So I may try to do what the pattern says, which I'm pretty sure it's just you pick up the stitches around it, and then I think you just sort of bind them off right away. I'm not even sure if you knit around. So I will look and see what it says. I may, again, just do my own thing, or I may just leave it as it is. It does roll more on the back, but I honestly don't care, and that's weird because usually I do care. The only reason I would be tempted to do something is just for stability's sake, honestly. So we'll see how that goes. But that's where we are now, and I'm pretty sure by the next time you see it, it will be finished. I can't wait to wear it. And I also want to show you this because this is what I've been putting my yarn in. Check out this yarn bowl. Isn't it beautiful? This was a birthday present from my daughter. She made it for me. She did not make the actual pottery, but she and some friends had gone to one of those paint your own pottery places, and she saw this as an option, and so she decided to make it for me for my birthday. And look at the colors. Are these colors not my colors? My kid gets me. So, and the speckles inside make me so happy. And it's a nice size, and this giant cake of yarn that I was using, I mean, it's kind of collapsed now, but you can see how big it was. It fit in there perfectly. So anyway, really enjoying that. So anyway, that is the story of my Deschain to date. Again, hopefully it'll be finished by the next time you see it. And then I will be wearing it all winter. I really wanted to have it done for Halloween, which I probably will. I'm not going anywhere on Halloween, but it's okay. Anyway, let us move on to the next item on my crafting list. I have a couple of finished things to show you. One was that fiber that I was spinning the last time, which was a braid of Mixed BFL that I dyed some time ago, called Ranger, and it is now done. It's a 2-ply. It was a fractal spin, and I got about 400 and I want to say 50 yards probably by the time it was finished. So, I mean finished, like soaked and finished. So, yep, I'm really happy with that. I have no idea what I'll use it for, but I'm glad it's done. I love the colors, and I do still think I'll try to dye some of this up and put it in the shop. I just haven't yet because, again, see aforementioned note of being super busy with the holiday countdown sets. So, but at some point. So that is a finished object. I do not have anything else on my wheel yet because I have been sidetracked by another project that I've basically been doing almost every morning. Which is usually my spinning time, you know, when I'm at the table having coffee with Bill in the morning. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. But meanwhile, I have another finished object which you haven't seen. And this was just a spur of the moment cast on because I needed something finished. Like, do you ever get that point? You're like, I'm working on a bunch of stuff. Nothing is going to be finished soon, and I just need a finish. So this was my quick to finish project. It's just a Marled Scrappy hat. I made a bunch of these a few years back, just using some leftover yarn. This was two pretty ample leftovers. So I used my bedazzled base in color lime, and the other one was bedazzled in a variegated called Beach Glass that I did a long time ago. I don't really do variegateds much anymore. So anyway, but I held those together and made this hat. And it was quick. I got it done like within a day. So it was nice to just have that really quick finish. Knitted on US 4 and 5 needles, 4 for the brim, 5 for the rest of the hat. I do have kind of a recipe that I use for these scrappy hats, these Marled scrappy hats. And I have summarized what I did for it in the project page for this hat. So if you're interested, you can check that out. It's not really an official pattern, but it's a recipe. And if you're familiar with basic hat construction, it would probably be enough for you to follow if you were interested. So that is my only other finished item. Now I do have some new cast-ons, which I was trying not to cast anything new on because I really want to finish this sweater. However, I can't carry the sweater around with me when I'm not home and things like that. So I needed some easier projects. So the easy project of choice currently is a sock, which I have not been knitting socks much this year. You might remember me talking about that. In fact, I went and checked my Ravelry project pages, and I think I only have 3 or 4 pair of socks listed as finished for this year. And a couple of those were ones that had been started last year, so they weren't even this year finishes. That's weird because usually I've got at least a dozen pair of socks by the end of the year. So it's just been a slow sock year. Just haven't been in that mode. But I did cast this one on, and this is also a Marled Scrappy project. And this time it's in my Mountain Tweed BFL base. So what I'm doing is I have a lot of scraps left over from that granny stripe cardigan that ended up being a vest. My main color for that was the plain vanilla color, so I have a lot of that left over. And I'm holding that the whole way through the sock with just little leftover bips and bobs of other colors. So I started with Vivid Violet, and then this one is magenta, and this one is, what is it? Gunmetal blue. So I have a few other ones just sitting in here. I have some Merlot. I think the blue is actually going to take me through a good bit of the foot, and then maybe I'll finish with the Merlot. I also have a brown in here. But I've got a whole big Ziploc bag, like the big Ziploc bag full of leftover Mountain Tweed bits and minis. So I know I have enough to do this. And I'm hoping to make these large enough for Emma. She has a bit bigger foot than I do, so I think these are going to be a Christmas present for her. But it's me using up scraps, because remember, that was one of my goals this year on my Stop Shitting on Yourself quest, is to use up at least 1,000 grams of minis, or of leftovers. So I've crossed the halfway point. This hat put me over 500 grams used so far this year. So that's a happy thing. And I figure these socks will do even more. Plus, if I can finish these by the end of October, I can also submit these for the Pigskin Party's first quarter challenge, which is a sock challenge. So these tiny little things are nice motivations for me. So anyway, those socks, obviously they're not super exciting because they are just plain vanilla shorty socks. I do a 2x1 rib on the cuff and then the top of the foot, and a regular heel flap and gusset. So, you know, slip stitch heel flap and gusset. But they're coming along well. And I needed that because last Saturday we had a concert to go to, one of our folk concerts from the folk concert series that we go to every year. And I like to take something to knit because I can usually knit before the concert, but they're at a new venue this year where I'm not like right up in front of the stage, which is where we're usually sitting. And so I was off to the side this year, and I knit through pretty much the whole entire concert. So that was kind of nice. Okay, so I said cast-ons. I do have another new cast-on, which is in this really adorable Toad Hollow bag that I got a few years back. I just love this fabric. It's the best Halloween bag. Anyway, it's in here. I'm going to give you a spoiler warning right now, though, because this is Stephanie Lotvin's Haunted House Mystery Knit-Along. Okay? If you are not taking part in it, then no worries. If you're, you can see it. If you are taking part, though, and maybe you aren't caught up with the clues, or you would like to be able to, if maybe you just started it. Anyway, if you don't want to see everything that I've knit, which I have done days 1 through 11. I did not do today's yet. Today's day 12, and then tomorrow will be the last clue. But if you don't want to see those, then please jump ahead. I will try to put like a time stamp down at the bottom here, or look in the show notes for the time stamp. That'll be easier because I would have to reprocess the video to put the time stamp in after the fact. But anyway, fair warning, I am going to open this and show you what I've done so far. Okay? Ready? I'm gonna show it. Hopefully without losing stitches. Okay, here we go. It's all bunched up on the needle, so this is gonna be a little bit difficult. It is a cowl. It's a mystery knit-along for a cowl. A Halloween themed cowl, obviously. The Haunted House make-along. But here it is so far. Her cowls are so interesting. Shape-wise, because you start off these first 4 sections, the yellow, the pink, the orange, and the green, those were all worked flat, and then you joined in the round. So when this is worn, that part's going to be up by my neck, and it's just going to sort of tuck in there. It's kind of ingenious because then it does give you some warmth there where normally a cowl would have gaping in the front. So that's interesting. I just wasn't expecting it to do that. I was knitting this thinking, oh, this must be the bottom point. No, it was not the bottom point. I guess had I been paying attention to the directions that I was doing the increases, I would have realized that sooner. But anyway, so the motifs are all, Halloween-y related. So let's go through them. The top one was spiders. The second one in the pink, this was supposed to be, I think, witches' eyes. They're little bubbles. I think they look like a different part of the witch's anatomy, but whatever. The orange is cauldrons. The green is brooms. I love this technique where you do this elongated stitches and then wrap them. I think they were so cute. And so then once you joined in the round, we started doing color work, which made it even more fun. So then the next one, we've got bats. Aren't they cute? This one is eyeballs, I think. It was another eyeball thing. Just general eyeballs, I'm pretty sure. And then you've got your jack-o'-lanterns. They're so happy. The next one is fangs. Now, the contrast between my two yarns there isn't fabulous. I can kind of get the fangs because they are the triangles up and down. It doesn't scream fangs to me, but you know, it's okay. It was a small section and it's fine. It's not my favorite out of all of them. And then we've got the ghosties, which I absolutely adore. And if you look at the center part, there you got the little ghosties right at the middle point. I think they're so cute. The next small section was tombstones. I actually kind of think it looks more like the top wall of a castle, the outer wall that has the little, what are they called? I don't know. I don't remember what that design is, you know, for protection when you're shooting your arrows or whatever, but that's what I feel like it looks more like. And then yesterday, it was actually a two-part clue. So the first half of the chart was yesterday, and today's clue finishes this chart, and it's skulls and crossbones. So that's the first part of it. And then today it will basically mirror it except upside down. So I have it printed out. I just haven't had a chance to work on it. I'll probably work on it a little bit while I am editing the video. So that is my MKAL. If you were not watching, you're welcome to come back now. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I had absolutely zero intention of doing this mystery knit along. Number one, I'm horrible at mystery knit alongs. Like, I've tried to do them before, and either I get a little bit into it and I don't like what I'm knitting, and so it loses appeal for me, or I just don't keep up. This one, however, since it was 13 days and it was a MKAL, so I knew they were going to be small clues. And then a friend of mine showed me her day one. She's like, oh, come on, you can do it. I'm like, oh, the spiders were so cute. I'm like, yeah, okay. So I went and I found yarn in my stash. All of the colors in this are my yarn, my bounce base, except that deep pink color. That is some Miss Babs that I had in another mini. I had some minis of it. I actually have a whole mini set from Miss Babs in shades of pink that I think I bought to make a top one time and I just never made. So I went into that for that pink color. So anyway, I'm really having fun with it. I'm super happy with how it's turned out or turning out. I think had I thought about it, I would have gone down a needle size because I do tend to knit a little bit loose when I do color work, especially with superwash yarn. And I think it would be the fabric would have a little more integrity if I had gone down to a 3 instead of the 4 that I'm on. But it's okay. It's fine. And I'm like, when I'm done with it, I can always toss it in the dryer for a little bit to get it to snug up if I need to. But anyway, yep, that's fun. And that will definitely be finished by the next time I record. So yay. That's it. That is what I've been working on, which actually, now that I've talked about it, all seems like a lot considering the fact that I really have not had a lot of crafting time. It's just been a lot of time dyeing yarn. So I'm pleased with my progress. What haven't I done? I have not at all touched the Ariana, that granny square cardigan. As soon as I finish the Deschain, then I think I will go back to that and I'll start, playing with that. I've not started my next spinning project, as I told you, because this cowl, this make along, that's what I've been doing in the mornings, at least the mornings when the clue's already out by the time I'm up having my coffee, which has been most mornings. Today it was not out till a little later. But that's usually my spinning time, so I can't do both. So once I'm done with the cowl, I will probably start spinning. I have that 3 braid, the last 3 braids from my Tour de Fleece basket of braids that I had pulled out that I was planning to do my next spinning project with. However, I may delay that and set those aside for later on because they are super bright, not bright, but they're lighter colors, and I think they're more springy, and I'm really kind of in a darker fallish winter spinning mood right now. And I have some fiber that I dyed up for myself in the pigskin party, the grab your flannel colors. I did a braid of the variegated for myself. So I think that might be my next spin. Yeah, probably. I think that's going to be my next spin. So that'll be coming up. And I haven't touched any of the other projects that you've heard me talk about in recent episodes, but that's okay. I'll get back to them. Okay, so the only other thing crafting wise I wanted to talk about is my October personal stash yarn challenge yarn, which I have not opened the bag yet, but here it is. Cute little pumpkin bag, perfect for this time of year. And I don't know what's in it. I only, obviously I have October, November, and December bags left. I don't remember what's left in any of them at this point. So let's see. Ooh. Cool. So this is some Jinx yarn. She is not dyeing anymore. She hasn't been dyeing for several years. And this is Strong Sport self-striping. It's called Abandoned Carnival. And I remember this was one of her Halloween colorways one year. So this is perfect for October. And it will be perfect for some shorty socks. So this will be another pair of shorty socks cast on. And if I wanted to qualify for Carol's Yarn of the Month Club component of her another year of stash make along that she's doing over in the A Stitch in Time group, I need to get this cast on before the end of October, but I have till the end of November to finish them. So yay, I'm excited. I've had this in my stash for so long. Is there I know she has dye lots on here. I thought maybe she would have put the year, but I mean, she hasn't been dyeing definitely since the before times. So I want to say maybe 2017, 2018 she quit dyeing. I don't remember. It's been quite some time. So this is well-aged stash, and I'm very happy that it was in this baggie that I pulled for this month. Perfect project. So that will be coming up. Yay. All right, now we're going to go to the Stop Shooting on Yourself make-along that's in our group. And I do have prizes to announce for the September prize winners. So, actually I have the prize winners to announce, not the prizes to announce. That didn't make any sense. So here's your prize choices this round. So if you're participating and you might be a prize winner, pay attention. So this is a little different than anything that I've done as a prize before, and I'm kind of using you guys as guinea pigs because it's something I might offer in the shop in the future, but I wanted to try it out. So as you know, I do serendipitous skeins every once in a while, like my serendipitous striping skeins that are just, they're my regular striping patterns usually, but the colorways are not anything that I've ever done before, and I just kind of put random colors together and just make colorways that are not meant to ever be repeatable. Okay, so that is my plan for the giveaway here, for the prizes. However, rather than offering you, because last month that was the prize, were serendipitous skeins. This month, however, what you're getting is the chance to have your own serendipitous skein. So if you're a winner, what I would like you to do is email me at I'm sorry, not that. If you do that one, I'll still get it, but I'd prefer it at lisa@fibernymfdyeworks.com. Email me and let me know 2 colors, 1 or 2, no more than 2, but up to 2 colors that you really like, 1 color that you absolutely despise and do not want in your yarn. Okay, and then I will put together other colors with those 1 to 2 colors that you mentioned and make you a serendipitous colorway. And you also need to tell me what what yarn base you would like. So, my regular yarn bases that I do. So like Bounce, Bedazzled, Mountain Tweed, BFL, Traveler Sport Weight, or Strong DK. Let's narrow it to those 5. You let me know out of those 5 bases which base you would like your skein to be on. It will probably be either a 5 or 6 stripe colorway depending on what I work with. And I'm also going to open it up to fiber. If you'd rather have a serendipitous braid, you can let me know what fiber you would like. So that would be, what are my current options? I've got Polworth silk. I have Falkland. I have mixed BFL. I have mixed BFL silk. I probably have some other ones, but you can let me know. If one of those doesn't float your boat and you want fiber, let me know and I'll tell you what else options are. So does that make sense? Hopefully you understood what I just said, because I feel like that was a little a little rambly. If you are one of the winners, you're going to get a personalized serendipitous skein. You're going to tell me 1 or 2 colors that you really, really like. 1 color that you absolutely do not want in your prize yarn, and what yarn base or fiber you would like it on, based on whether you would like yarn or a skein or fiber to spin. Okay, and then I will put that together for you. Now I do it in sets of 2, which means that the one that is dyed with it will end up in my shop. So hopefully you won't mind that. But it's not like anybody's gonna know this was Esmeralda's skein or whatever. Nobody named Esmeralda one. It'll just be named, the serendipitous number, whatever. But yours will be your serendipitous skein or braid. So I hope that's a fun prize. I thought it would be fun. And again, it's something I might offer in the future in the shop. I've done that similarly with pie, like personalized pie skeins before, but I thought it might be fun with a serendipitous skein too. So anyway, there you go. That's your prizes. So now let me announce the prize winners. In the chatter thread, we had posts 3,792 through 4,536 in September, and random number generator chose post 4,206, and that was K8R, who is Linda. So congratulations, Linda. You are one of the prize winners. And then for finished object, in that thread we had posts number 376 to post 429, and random number generator chose post 395, and that is Seductive Berry, who is Maria, and she her finished object was an absolutely beautiful crocheted blanket. She said it was her squirrel blanket, meaning like it was a squirrel project, like I have to make that right now. It was lovely though, so congratulations, Maria. And lastly, we have the always troublesome Instagram, which next year I've just got to come up with a different way to have an alternate drawing that's not on Ravelry, because Instagram's just so not working well. All right, but Instagram, I just did my random scrolling in the hashtag, which is, the hashtag is 90K soymal. Which obviously next year's tag will not have 90K. This year shouldn't have either. It was just not on my brain to not put that in there, because that's not what the podcast is called anymore. But anyway, I pulled up the newest top posts. That's the one that gives me more than likely the most recent posts. And then I just scrolled through there until I landed on one from September. And the one that I landed on was posted on September 17th, and it was by PA Knitwit, who is Sarah. So congratulations, Sarah. And that was actually a post of a blanket that she crocheted while she was stuck at home with COVID last month. So hopefully, Sarah, you're all better now. I'm sure she is. I know she is. We've talked since then, I think. At least in posts, she said she's finally good. So anyway, 3 winners. So K8R, Seductive Berry, PA Knitwit. Please email me with that information so that I can put together your serendipitous striped skein or your serendipitous fiber braid. And again, if you have questions about what I need from you, just ask in your email and I'll be happy to try to explain it to you a little better. Alrighty, so, and again, the soy mail is going on through the end of the year. That is the stop shooting on yourself mail, make along. It's just a way to try to get you to make things that you really want to make versus the things you feel like you should be making. And we are drawing to a close this year in December, but that's okay. Actually, am I doing it through December, or did I say we were ending in November? I'm going to have to look at that, because I know one year we did not do it in December because a lot was going on. I'll have to double check on that. I honestly don't know. At any rate, it's still going on right now. So you are welcome to join in. And I do have an idea for next year's make-along. We are going to do another make-along next year. And again, next year, it's going to be another very low-key, loosey-goosey kind of make-along that you'll be able to customize and make your own and do what makes you happy. But it does have a theme and a little bit of guidance. So stay tuned for that. Probably I'll talk about that next month sometime. That brings us just to the shop, and there's not really a lot to tell you about in the shop right now because, again, I'm mostly working on the holiday countdown sets and some pre-order stuff. I will say all of the Stay Colorway pre-orders, those have shipped out, and almost all of the Grab Your Flannel pre-orders that I've gotten so far have shipped out, except any ones that have come in within the last couple of days. Other than that, if you've placed an order for either of those colors, they are either to you already or still on their way and should be there soon. So, oh, and then the other pre-orders that obviously have not shipped out yet are the ones that I just did for the Middle Earth Imagine colorways, but I'll be working on those, you know, in the coming weeks. So there is a little bit of Halloween stuff left in the shop, both yarn and fiber, but not a lot. All of the Lucky 13 countdown sets did sell, so those were a big hit though, and I will do them probably again next year. So I did add some of my signature Earth Tones colorway to the shop on striping and mini sets. I do have a few other just like one-off items that I'm going to be putting into the shop probably over the next couple of days. I don't know if they'll be up as soon as this goes up, but you can be looking for those. Let's see, what else? Oh, that's the other thing. I will not be at Frederick this fall. I was originally supposed to vend at Frederick at the end of this month, and for a multitude of reasons, not just because I'm super busy with everything else, but I went through a period where I was having like constant migraines earlier. Like actually this is the first week in a while that I was not having constant migraines. Like just every morning I would wake up and be like, oh, I feel okay. And then within an hour it was like, boom. It was horrible. But anyway, I got to the point where it's like, I cannot do a show like this, like with this going on. And so I was fortunate enough they were happy to change my registration to the spring show. So I will be back at Frederick in the spring, but I am not going to be there in a couple of weeks. So I am very sorry if anybody was looking forward to seeing me there. I was looking forward to seeing people too, but it just did not work out in the cards for me. I'm actually doing really well. Things are good. And I'm so happy it's fall. I'm so happy it's sweater weather. And yeah, it's an interesting time of year for me every year. And so I'm going to get at it and stop babbling. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them here in the comments on YouTube or in the blog, because I always post this video also in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works blog and in the Ravelry group. So any of those places I will try to reply. You're also always welcome to email me, lisa@fibernymphdyworks.com. And yeah, I will see you again, hopefully not too far into the distant future. It would be really great if I could get another October video up. I do have a video I want to do for Socktober, which I haven't had a chance to record yet. Maybe I'll be able to do that like early next week. Fingers crossed. So anyway, that's it. I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.